and welcome back to Blaze TV2. Scott and Ash here. Tonight we're joined by the equipment manager, Ethan Kane. Ethan, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So it's the summer of 2019. You're working at the rink, you're playing rec hockey, and the equipment manager jobs comes up.
Yep.
How did that move come about?
I actually moved to Coombe Abbey for a little while, and I was working in the cafe, like a cafe area, and it was at the end of awards, and I'm working. It was like, I think it's like a Sunday morning or something, and my boss walks into the back room, and it's like some short, bald guys out there wants to speak to you, and I was like, must be my stepdad. So I walked out, and Stewie stood there with his wife and kids, and I thought, oh, that's quite nice, and we just got chatting and stuff, and he just asked if I'd settled into my new role at Coombe Abbey and then got a message a couple of days later asking if I'd be interested in a change, and it just went so quickly from there. Like my first year was meant to be like training basically with Smalley predominantly, but it just escalated so quickly, and I just picked up. I think I started like end of July and was pretty much ready to go for the season. Smalley's a really good trainer, so he knows what he's doing.
I mean, it's a very important role for the team. You're basically, the safety of the guys is in your hands, and it's a steep learning curve for someone as a novice. Mm-hmm. How did you feel you took to it?
It was one of those things where like, I just wanted to go home, and I wanted to be there the following day, and I just wanted to brush up on my skills. And I'm sure there's still equipment managers now that have been doing it for years that, you know, they still can get better. There's still new things that you run into every day and new challenges that you face. So you've just got to always be on your toes, ready for the next issue, ready for the next challenge. And yeah, like I said, practice makes perfect. There's not enough skates you can sharpen. There's not enough, sticks you can do, equipment you can sew, so much stuff you can just learn on the go, non-stop.
And what was your first impressions working for Danny? I mean, watching him on the bench, comes across as quite a mean guy, but how was he with you?
I was quite fortunate. Obviously, I watched him during all of his playing career. So for me, it was a really good. I was like, I used to watch this guy play, and it's really nice to work for him. He's been so mellow over the past few months. I think the lockdown's done him really good. But he's just a role model, and he's very easy to respect, and he has very solid rules and guidelines. So it's nice to work for someone who is respectable, and he sets a tone for everyone else in a respectable way.
The job you do can't be the easiest. You got 20 odd guys, different needs, different requirements, and it's all on the shoulders of you and Steve Small. What are the main pressures of the job?
The main thing you need to always be aware of is a guy can leave the changing room, and there can be an issue that can arise instantly, which can put him out of action for an easy 15-20 minutes. So if you've got your top line go out, and like you're starting in a power play situation, it's free, and one of their skates goes, you need that to be, you can't have a second pair of skates for each guy. They're like £600 a pair. So budget wise, you can't have a second set. So a lot of guys have spare steel, so you can just quickly swap. But they play hockey every day of their lives. It's what they've done. It's what they've done for their whole childhood. They like what they have. So you find a lot of players, for example, they'll rip an elbow pad. Instead of buying new elbow pads, they want them elbow pads replaced because they've wore them their whole lives. So you've just got to always be ready. Just preparation is the key. You can never be too prepared doing this job. So you can overbuy stuff. You're always going to use it. So that's good. That's kind of easy to budget on, basically.
Touched on the pressure side a little bit more. Being in this social bubble you're in currently in Nottingham, does that take a bit of pressure off? Because in a normal situation, a normal season, you could be on a bus up to Fife on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, getting back to the Skydome in the small hours of the morning, and you've got a game 12, 15 hours later. And that's got to be testing for you, well, everyone involved, and especially an equipment manager.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that we've been able to set up how we have and not have to pack up the stuff at the end of the night and take it back. Sheffield are still currently doing that, which is it's going to be tough on Andy. He's got to unpack a van repack a van, the game. They're then training in Sheffield, coming back, and he's doing that consistent. I mean, that's what you do in a regular season. You pack up, you get there, you unpack, you then pack up after the game, come back and unpack. And it's tough that way because it's easy to forget things. Last season, I had a few things that I forgot. Took the wrong jerseys to Guildford. It was all Guildford. Took the wrong jerseys to Guildford and forgot the food warmer as well. We have like an urn for the food. I forgot that, and luckily a fan hadn't left completely yet, so they swung by the rink and got it for me. But so I've been quite lucky. It's just always Guildford's clearly the bad one. But with here, everything's here. There's been things. We've gone through a few things. We've hit a few speed bumps, but nothing that hasn't been easily rectifiable. But the pressure side of things, it's because we haven't forgot. Because we're here and we don't have to move stuff, we're not forgetting anything. It's already set up for the following day. Providing you leave it how it is that night, it's already set up the following day. There's barely any people around here, which is brilliant. And, things are just left the way that you want them, which is what you need, really.
When the Elite Series was announced and it had its doubters, so obviously the league want to put on a good show. With yourself, what is your daily routine like? And with the COVID protocols in place, has that been a challenge for yourself?
At first, I think it was just because it was something to get used to. But, the guys that have done all this, like Luke Fisher, Todd Cowman, Mike Hicks, they've been on the ball all day, every day. We all knew it was going to be a long haul, but it's such a short time. It's only 5 weeks, and 5 weeks of hockey is better than no hockey for over a year. So it's been really good. I've met so many good people. I think it's just been nice for everyone. Like teams, there's no hostility between players. Like guys will see each other in the hallway, and they'll be everyone will be kind. There's been a few on ice things or bench things. Won't mention Stewie and Connolly, but there's been a few things like that, but nothing that's ever gone back. But it's been ran really, really well, considering the amount of guys that are actually here doing it and the short time it got put together. Behind doors before this was like Stewie was 12 to 16 hours a day, non-stop. I had rooms full of equipment at my house, so it was good though. And then once it's all done, as soon as it's all over, we'll all sit there and be like, it weren't so tough. It was good for what it was. Great experience, and I'm glad we did it.
With the team we've got this year, the Elite League has shown a lot of behind-scenes camera stuff, and the overtime win the other night. They seem to be a real team unit, very similar to last year's team. Can you see the comparables with the two teams?
As soon as our key players, like David Clemens, for example, you put him in a room, and you just say, "Hey, Dave, look, get these guys together," kind of thing, and he's just great at moulding. And there's so many good personalities. There's no one in a room that like brings it down or anything like that. There's all every person's in it for the team. Like it was good when like Feds turned up. That was good. And I've tried to make the rooms as even as possible. I've tried to get some of the new guys that have been played around hockey a bit more. Some of the imports in one room, some of the imports in another, and guys have just gelled. And it's like after a few days, it's like they've been playing together for years.
Since you've been doing this job, Ethan, who's been the most pain for you in a nice way? Who do you have to do the most work for?
I thought that's tough to say. For this, it hasn't really been that much, to be honest. It's tough because the way that we walk out, we're lucky to have like just the one bench where the other teams have to split. So, but I don't know if you've seen behind the benches in Nottingham, but the steps probably about this big to step up to, and then you go onto the bench and then you step down onto the ice as well. But without keeping an eye consistently on all of it, you then walk into a corridor which is like swimming pool mats kind of thing. It's like swimming pool flooring. It's like slip proof, but it's not like rubber basically. And you can get the smallest thing on there, like a stone from outside, and a guy stands on that, and it's tough. There's so many like nicks. The ice is really, really soft as well, which doesn't help. But yeah, it is tough. Yanni's skates have gone probably 4 or 5 times. And usually there's just little nicks like this, but Yanni's come today with one about this, and that will, in like a game, I'm glad it happens on a day like today where we don't have a game, because if you're skating and you try to turn and you completely lose an edge, you know, it can take him out of the game. And a guy like Yanni, who's on the power play as well, you need him to be fresh like at all times. So, but
we've mentioned on a few different things, and that Scott mentioned on behind the bench and the stuff what's been put out by the Elite League and by the club. For yourself, can you actually enjoy the games, or are you waiting for a breakdown to happen, like you've just mentioned with Yanni's skates, for example?
It is tough because obviously I enjoy watching hockey. I have done since like the early 2000s. But I have to focus on the gameplay. But for situations like a power play, I'll know who's going to be like the main shooter. So in the back of my mind, I'll be like, right, I'm here with the gate, and my sticks are here. I know I'm going to need to get 4 hours if a stick goes. I know I'm going to need to do that. So like last season, every time Drew or Hash went on the power play, I'd always hold their stick in my hand, because we had an incident in Glasgow where Drew went through 3 sticks in about 4 minutes, and it was both on the power play, and I literally just had to keep feeding. So, you know, you cannot be prepared enough. You just have to watch everything, which is why it's really been nice having Smalley, and Rob Coleman has come up. He does mainly like the week games with me, and Smalley does the weekends, enjoying retirement. So that's nice. It is literally a call of you'll see me do the gate for 2 minutes, and then you'll see Smalley or Rob do the gate because of probably off doing something. But yeah, so we actually ran into an incident the other day where I wasn't fully prepared, because it's the first face-off. You expect, I think, I've done everything, and Seaman Edvardsson didn't have a spare stick, and he went into the face-off, and they slashed him straight away and snapped his stick, and they're like 34, and I turned around and was like, there's no 34. So we had to get a change within 5 seconds. So that's ideally not what you want at the start of a game. So for me, everyone always makes mistakes, but that's probably the biggest mistake I've made so far. And that's me being underprepared on one level. But it is tough. I try to focus on the exciting part of hockey. But, you know, I have to really be dialed in, doing my job as well. Good after a win. As soon as we win, we all let go for 20 minutes or so, and, you know, enjoy that. It's just very intense. Anxiety is high.
Well, it gives you
It's tough.
Sorry, Ethan. Gives us an insight into what you're doing during the game, because I mean, I'm just a mere fan. I've never really paid any attention to behind the bench. I'm watching the play, so it's good for us to get to some knowledge.
Definitely.
There's one thing though that's there is one thing that's kind of I want to ask. What's with the lemon pledge?
So I've had 12 messages asking about my lemon pledge, and it's not just specifically lemon, but, you know, just any pledge, or Mr. Sheen. Edvardsson come off the ice after a play, and I think he'd got like a high elbow as well, and like it was a missed call, and he come off, and behind my gate, and I have the 3 rolls of tape, and he come off and he kind of like hit the board a little bit, and my pledge fell off, and I looked down, and it broke the cap, and me and Rob just kind of made this face to each other, like we just wanted to stand out the way, but my lemon pledge was broke. So I said to Rob, that's going to cost me £1. I have to go to the pound shop now. And by the end of the game, we'd taped it all up, and we'd fixed it and stuff, and we were just testing it at the end, and we were spraying it. So I was telling Smalley about it, and then it just, at that time, the camera was there, and I was like, my pledge made it, and I was spraying. So it's a thing that smells nice too. So, but if you know, if anyone from the officers of Pledge or Mr. Sheen wants to drop me an email, I'll happily take a sponsorship offer. I'll endorse some Pledge.
There are other polishes available, so just in case.
Nothing like the Pledge, mate.
Nothing like the Pledge. All right,
Ethan. Pledge and the Sheen.
Ethan, thanks very much for joining us tonight, mate.
You're welcome, mate.
Enjoy the rest of the series.